and Dumber 2, or T.O. as this movie is spelling it. Dumb and Dumber 2 is a 2014 comedy film that I just got back from a screening for. This is, once again, written and directed by the Farrelly brothers, and it's been 20 years since the original Dumb and Dumber movie, and in case you haven't seen my review for that movie that I posted on my channel just a couple of days ago, I love that film. It has to be, in my opinion, one of the top 5 best comedies of all time. I can't stress enough how much I love that film. So, all of these years later, I have to admit I was going into this pretty apprehensive, just on the sense of it's been so long. Can these same guys match, if not top, that level of comedy gold that they had in the first place? Because I, for one, when I saw that first picture of Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels back as these characters, my first thought wasn't, wow, that's cool. No, my first thought was, wow, they're so old. And I didn't want to be so negative. I didn't want to have those thoughts, but I couldn't help it. They just looked really old to me, and I thought it wouldn't work. I thought it would be forced. But let's talk about it, because the plot, really quick, is Harry Dunn, played by Jeff Daniels, he finds out after all of these years that he has a daughter that he didn't know about. So him and his best friend Lloyd Christmas, once again played by Jim Carrey, they go on a road trip where they try to find Harry's daughter. What Harry doesn't know, though, is that Lloyd has the hots for his daughter. Now, what I thought of Dumb and Dumber 2 was, I didn't hate this movie. I didn't. Now, I didn't love it. It's certainly nowhere near as great as the original film. But I will say that I did enjoy it. The thing about seeing Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels play these characters, I thought I would have the whole they're too old thing to be doing this. Maybe the movie started off with a little bit of that, but once I got into it, I quickly forgot about that. They were funny together. They have a funny chemistry of going back and forth. I will say that there were some moments, some jokes that were a little forced. Some moments where it just seemed like they were either throwing too many jokes at once, and so some of them hit, but then a good amount of them also missed as well. Or if the jokes were too juvenile. And don't get me wrong, the first movie wasn't devoid of doing jokes like that, but it seemed like there was so much more here. Like the farting jokes. There was so much of it, and I thought one of them was really funny, but then I can only take so much farting jokes in one movie. I will say that I enjoyed the quick moment of seeing the blind kid, who's now grown up. I like the bits with him. I appreciated the fact, because I thought that the movie would do a lot of this, of showing characters from the first movie and saying, oh hey, there's Seabass, which, as much as I like Seabass, I don't need to see him come back for a weird and forced cameo. So they didn't do stuff like that. We got Rob Riggle and Laurie Holden, who are essentially the bad guys of the film. And Rob Riggle, he's a funny actor. He's a funny sort of comedic actor. But, I don't know, he had this thing where there was one character that he was, and then he had a twin brother, which he also played. And the twin brother was supposed to be an officer who was special forces, so he had this whole camouflage running joke that they kept doing. And the first time it kind of surprised me, but then they did it again and again. It didn't really work as well. Laurie Holden was just your typical generic bad guy of the film, so not really much there. As far as the daughter, Penny, this actress is smoking hot. But she couldn't be any more dumb. In fact, she outdumbs Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. She's borderline retarded. And I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't use that type of words, but I don't know how else to explain her character. Now, I remember reading a while ago that Jennifer Lawrence was supposed to have a cameo or be in the film at some point. So I was looking out for her. And then, of course, the whole movie goes by, and I'm like, I didn't see Jennifer Lawrence there. So then when I looked up on Wikipedia, Jennifer Lawrence plays a young version of Frida Felcher, the character who is Penny's mom, the one that Harry had a kid with. And when she's older, you see her. You see this actress playing her, but they show flashbacks, brief flashbacks of when they supposedly hooked up, but you never see Frida's face. You just see the back of her, and you get the sense that, okay, she was a hot chick. Apparently, Jennifer Lawrence played this character, young character, but we never saw her face. And I can't help but think, wow. So they got Jennifer Lawrence to do this quick cameo, and they don't even show that it's her. I can't think of any more of a waste of an actress. So look, what more can I really say about a comedy? I'm not going to just go off and give away all the jokes. I will say that there were a good amount of jokes that I thought were really funny, that had me laughing pretty good. I'd say 70% of the jokes got me laughing. Sure, there was a lot more jokes than I would care to admit that I didn't really like. My rating for Dumb and Dumber 2, I'm going to give it a matinee. I could give it a rental. I don't know if you necessarily need to see it in the theater, but for me, it's a pretty big movie. It was one of the films I was looking forward to a lot. And the fact that, as dumb as it was, as juvenile and low rent as some of the jokes were, if it made me laugh, and it did, that's really all I can ask for. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you have any interest in checking out Dumb and Dumber 2. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!